everyone. You are watching the EBC International coverage of the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic North America edition. I am Eliza Gonzalez Manglakma.
And I am Ace Ramirez.
According to the World Health Organization, 6 new countries, territories, and areas have reported cases of COVID-19. The list includes 2 in the African region, 1 in the European region, 1 in the region of the Americas, 1 in the Southeast Asia region, and 1 in the Western Pacific region. WHO situation report in the last 24 hours says Western Pacific region has 94,037 confirmed cases, with 688 of them new, with 3,426 deaths. European region is at 128,541 confirmed cases, with 6,000 deaths. Southeast Asia region has 979 confirmed cases, with 38 deaths. Eastern Mediterranean region has 22,355 confirmed cases, with 1,466 deaths. In the region of Americas, 18,877 confirmed cases, with 235 deaths. In the African region, 572 confirmed, with 12 deaths. That's a total of 266,073 confirmed cases globally, with 11,184 deaths. WHO regional directors of Europe, the Western Pacific, and Africa called for global solidarity to fight COVID-19, ensuring international cooperation, investing in health, and engaging communities are keys to effectively tackle the pandemic.
Meanwhile, according to the Coronavirus Resource Center website of Johns Hopkins University in Medicine, in the U.S., as of 6:43 p.m. today, total confirmed cases reported are 33,073. Total deaths is at 416. Recovered is at 178. And based on CDC's situation report, jurisdictions in the U.S. reporting cases, 54 states, including the District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, Guam, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. According to CDC, the cases of COVID-19 reported in the U.S. by source of exposure as of Friday, travel-related, 337 cases, close contact, 321, under investigation, 14,561, with a total cases of over 15,000. So, let's bring a slight showbiz touch on the coronavirus update. Rumor has it
What?
that the US is heading towards a national lockdown and that the entire country will be quarantined for 2 weeks.
That's a myth, Ace. According to the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, there is no national lockdown. We are continuously being advised to verify the source of information before we join the bandwagon and forward them to our friends and organizations, and therefore add more reasons for panic to the community.
That's good to know.
Rumor has it also, we need to stockpile as many groceries and supplies as we possibly can. True? Not true?
That is not true. Although local or national disasters always cause panic to the people, which is quite understandable because every human being's primary goal is for safety and preservation of life. Thus, we secure the basic needs for our families like shelter, food and water, clothing or personal protection, and of course, toilet paper.
Really?
FEMA advises us to buy only what you or your family needs for a week. Remember, not all families are able to buy a supply of food and water for weeks in advance. Understand that stores need time to restock too. Shelves may be empty now because of the exceptionally high consumer demand brought on by panic buying, but stocks will be replenished. There's already a sign in a big membership supermarket saying, "We don't accept returns on toilet paper." Rumor has it that only those over 60 years old and those with compromised respiratory systems are at risk of getting COVID-19 disease. Is that true?
Not really, Ace. The Center for Disease Control and Protection, or CDC, says the older adults and those with serious chronic medical conditions have a higher risk of contracting the virus. But this virus does not pick who to infect. It does not discriminate. Whether you're an NBA player, an actor, a quiet neighbor, or a teenager, anybody can have it. Symptoms can range from mild to severe and may have different complications for each individual.
It is best to be informed. Follow the precautionary measures. Social distancing is not just to keep people away from each other. Quarantine is not just to give us cabin fever. There's a reason for the madness. And if anyone is experiencing any symptoms, please follow the official information from the health officials and from health agencies.
Now we bring you our Eagle News correspondents from across the United States and Canada. Joining us tonight is our Eagle News correspondent in Alberta, Canada, Thomas Likeness. Hi, Thomas. Thank you for joining us.
Ace, Eliza, I like what I heard, what you were just talking about, all those rumors out there. It just drives me crazy. I see all this stuff on Facebook, and people
that's
just
right.
believe it.
And I guess it's not only you, it's driving everyone crazy.
Anyway, stick to Eagle News if you want to hear the truth. If you see something, check the source. And the source isn't Facebook, the source isn't the internet, that's just the platform. Where did it come from? Was it legitimate? Something like AFP, something like Eagle News, the Associated Press. But enough of that. Let's get to the situation in Canada now. I'm going to update you on where we're at today. Nationally, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has appeared before the cameras. He does this on a daily basis. He says he's not ready to declare a national emergency just yet, but he's not ruling it out. Now, across the country, we are in various stages of lockdown. British Columbia, probably the most severe because of the large number of cases there. But even here in Alberta, not quite a lockdown, but we're certainly being encouraged to practice social distancing, and gatherings, the upper limit is 50. The Prime Minister has recalled Parliament. They're going to get together next Tuesday to just pass the legislation to pay for some of this emergency legislation that they've been talking about. But only a few members of Parliament will be doing this. The only ones they want there are within driving distance of the capital. They don't want anybody flying in. The situation across Canada, a little more than 1,400 cases as of about 5 o'clock our time this afternoon. In my part of the country, I live in the West, in Alberta. Our daily update, we had 33 new cases in the last 24 hours. Total of 259 in Alberta. So far, just one death. And we are getting used to social distancing. It's dead out there right now. No traffic. We were out and about shooting some stock footage today. Stopped by a restaurant and spoke with the manager. He says his business is off 90%. Bit of an increase in takeout, he said, but not enough to keep everybody busy. He used to have a staff of 40. He's got a staff of 7 now. 33 people in just that one business out of work. A lot of people on temporary layoffs right now. The government here, of course, has offered to support them with partial top-up of their wages. Want to talk for a minute about what we call virus rebels. These are people who just don't believe there's any big problem. They don't want to practice the social distancing. And they're all over the world. Beaches in France, Australia, and Florida flooded with people. Authorities have had to actually close those down. And we have them in Canada, too. I was talking with our Vancouver Bureau Chief, Jay Suarez. He tells me that people are taking to Twitter now to shame people they see holding big gatherings. So that's something that's happening here. I just don't get the thinking of these people. So I got to ask you, what do you take for granted that you can't do today? Think about it for a minute. For me, getting a haircut. I'm about a week overdue now. And a lot of barbers and hairstylists, they've hung up the clippers, closed up their shops. I just don't know what to do. If this goes on for months, and our chief medical health officer has said it could go on for several weeks or maybe even a couple of months. If this goes on for months, how do you think I'd look in a ponytail? I guess I could ask my wife to cut it, but I'm a little fearful there because she might just keep cutting until she runs out of hair. Of course, I got to have the bald guy look then.
That'd be quite a sight, Tom.
We're all in this together, so be kind to those around you, but keep your distance. Take care of others. Take care of yourself. Stay healthy, stay safe, and stay tuned to Eagle News for balanced coverage of the COVID-19 pandemic. In Edmonton, Thomas I. Likeness, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Thank you so much, Thomas.
Thomas, we heard yesterday that the government of Canada will be offering sort of a relief to the citizens when it comes to their utilities for, I think, about 3 months. Is that correct?
Not the utilities. There may be individual provinces that might do that. Okay. What they are offering is very loose conditions for unemployment insurance. Mm-hmm. So that if you are laid off, you can get up to 60% of your wage. I think the cap is maybe $1,600 a month, but at least it's some income coming in.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us, Thomas. With us also is Cara Cabusa from, she's not here yet. Okay, she'll join us later. Let's head over to Washington, D.C., where our Eagle News correspondent, Mayor Ramos, is standing by. Hi, May.
Hi, Eliza. Hi, Ace. How are you doing today?
We're good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In Washington, D.C., as of 7 p.m. Sunday, there are 18 new positive cases. Sadly, 12 of which are below 37 years old, and the youngest are 8 and 10 years old. Six of those are 45 to 71 years old. You would think that now it's getting younger. The number of cases are actually getting younger. The total of DC cases are now up to 116. Unfortunately, there are also 2 deaths as of yesterday. And because of this, Mayor Bowser extended the prohibition on mass gatherings to up to 50 people during this public health emergency up to April 27. And this actually, the mayor encourages volunteers to join the DC Medical Reserve Corps to assist and support planned events and emergencies. They are looking for medical and non-medical volunteers 18 years of age and older, retired student, or a community member who will receive free training. Also, DC Water said it will restore water service to any disconnected resident upon request. And actually, reports of crowd gathering at Tidal Basin to see the famed cherry blossoms are, well, you know how it is now. And the mayor reiterated that we can all enjoy the trees virtually and that the virus is not a joke and we should just stay home. Positive note though, groceries are restocking their supplies. I just saw earlier. Well, we just want to remember that, yes, social distancing is still being encouraged, but there is a reminder that it's the physical distancing and we should actually remain the social connection that we have with the family and maintain the closeness that we have due to the time that we have in our hands. Back to the studio. This is May Bondoc Ramos in Washington, D.C. We live in interesting times.
Thank you so much for the update, May. Let's stick to the DMV area from Fort Washington, Maryland. We have Ken Cruz. Ken, can you give us some updates?
Hey, Eliza and Ace. Good evening. How are you guys doing?
Good, can't complain.
So as of 9 p.m. tonight, Sunday, the state of Maryland has 244 COVID-19 cases with 3 deaths. So 54 cases of coronavirus were actually reported just within the past 24 hours. And the most recent death was a Montgomery County resident in her 40s who suffered from underlying medical conditions. Now the max amount of people in a gathering in Maryland is at 10. And also officials have closed the beaches and the boardwalk in Ocean City, Maryland in an attempt to slow the spread of COVID-19. In sports, Olympic athletes worldwide are calling on the International Olympic Committee, or the IOC, to postpone the Tokyo Olympics until the coronavirus pandemic is under control. The IOC announced they will be considering several scenarios and would finalize a decision within 4 weeks. Also, within the NFL, they announced that they'll no longer hold the 2020 draft in Las Vegas, but instead it'll be held in a studio setting with teams making their picks remotely. The draft is still scheduled for April the 23rd to the 25th. In Fort Washington, Maryland, Ken Cruz, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Thank you for the update, Ken.
Thanks, Ken.
Going back to May's report earlier, she said that groceries are being restocked. That is true. I saw it myself. 5 days ago, it was impossible to get bread or bananas or rice.
That's right.
But a few days ago, I was surprised at the amount of supplies that the groceries have now, and with a lot less people crowding and panicking over these items.
Exactly, and it's all because of panic buying, and we disproved the myth earlier. Panic buying causes a
Panic.
right, or destabilization of the economy.
That's true.
Well, the supply and demand. There's a great influx of demand right away, but we're not thinking other people might need it. How about the elders? How about the youngsters who don't have the means to get these supplies?
So don't panic buy. It will be restocked. We will be right back. Stay with us.
Going live with Shani Lazaro, Saturdays, 10 a.m. on Net 25.
COVID-19 is an infectious disease caused by a new coronavirus introduced to humans for the first time. It is spread from person to person, mainly through the droplets produced when an infected person speaks, coughs, or sneezes. These droplets can land in the mouths or noses of people who are nearby. These droplets are too heavy to travel far in the air. They only travel approximately 1 meter and quickly settle on surfaces. This is the reason person-to-person spread is happening mainly between close contacts. The exact time that the virus can survive on surfaces is not yet known. So it is wise to clean surfaces regularly, particularly in the vicinity of people infected with COVID-19. Hands touch many surfaces, which can be contaminated with the virus. You should therefore avoid touching your eyes, nose, or mouth, since contaminated hands can transfer the virus from the surface to yourself. When coughing or sneezing, cover your mouth and nose with the bend of your elbow or use a disposable tissue. If a tissue is used, discard it immediately into a closed bin. The most effective way to prevent the spread of the new coronavirus is to clean your hands frequently with an alcohol-based hand rub or soap and water. This will eliminate the virus if it is on your hands. Stay healthy and prevent the spread of COVID-19.
Welcome back. You are watching the EBC international coverage of the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic. According to the CDC, in settings where face masks are not available, healthcare personnel or HCP might use homemade masks, example bandanas, scarves, for care of patients with COVID-19 as a last resort. However, homemade masks are not considered personal protective equipment or PPE, since their capability to protect the personnel is unknown. Caution should be exercised when considering this option. Homemade masks should ideally be used in combination with a face shield that covers the entire front, that extends to the chin or below, and sides of the face.
That's true. But Don Rogers of Patient Safety and Infection Prevention Office for Deaconess Health Systems in Indiana says, quote, prior to modern disposable masks, washable fabric masks were standard use for hospitals. Rogers said, quote, we will be able to sterilize these masks and use them repeatedly as needed. While it's less than ideal, we want to do our best to protect our staff and patients during this pandemic. Joining Eagle News today is Laura Lynn Carula in Bronx, New York, who will share with us why she decided to make these washable homemade fabric masks and how she's making them. Thank you for joining us, Laura Lynn.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Laura Lynn, first, what are the materials needed for you to be able to create one face mask?
It depends. If you have a thicker material, you can repurpose bandanas, like you said, handkerchiefs. These are thin materials, so I recommend doubling it or quadrupling it. You need a layer and thicker material to do the mask. You can use disposable ones as your guide, as a pattern. And I happen to have materials laying around the house, but you can use, you can even use pillowcases if you want. You can use stretchy materials, you can use cotton, you can use polyester. I happen to have fun prints for the kids, pretty prints for the girls. This one's pretty. My daughter finds that cute.
Okay, Laura Lynn, take us to it in a quick tutorial. What is the procedure to create one?
So you want to have it big enough to cover your face, to cover your face, your chin, your nose, side of your face, both sides. Just a little bit of space for the loops.
So that's about 8 inches in length and 3 inches in width?
Yes, this is 8.5 by 4.5.
Okay.
Because you want also to make an inch pleat or fold in both sides, like so. You pin it. You pin it this side and that side. And you need 2 or a pair of ribbon. You can use a thin ribbon. You can use cords. I actually found this in a drawstring bag. You can use elastics or the ear loop that you're going to use. And to sew it together, you can use a machine. You can use a needle and thread. to attach it. This one's attached,
Okay.
and there's
Ooh, nice
photo
pattern.
cam. Yeah.
Laurelyn, are there any materials that are not advisable to use?
You want something breathable.
Okay.
This one is silk. I used it yesterday to run in the park with my husband, and I found it very hard. It's not breathable enough for me, but I think it's good for just walking around
Okay.
because it's thicker. For cotton materials, you want to double it, like I said, 4 plies. I have materials that doesn't fray, so it will cut some time for you. You don't have to sew the side.
You mentioned time. How long does it take to create one mask?
It's
for you?
actually, for me, I started yesterday. The first 2, it took me longer because I'm still learning. But today I found that I can make one for 5 minutes.
Wow, that's fast.
It's not rocket science, actually.
And what is the cost?
Are you selling them?
No, I'm doing it for my friends and for my family.
Okay, so it's for personal use.
For personal use. I feel bad using the disposables because it's so expensive. If you can find them, it's so expensive, and then you just toss it. This one you can sterilize. You can wash it after one use. You don't want to use. You don't want to use it twice. You want to use it outside and put it in a hot water. Wash it with soap and water, and that's it. And then you can reuse it again tomorrow.
If one wants one that you're creating, how do they contact you? I know you're not selling it, but let's say I want one. Is it okay?
It's fine. You can contact me through Facebook. You can contact you can email me. I can give you my email. I can make you one. It's fun to make. You will have so much time on our hands right now. So if you're bored, you can make some masks.
Well, thank you for joining Eagle News, Laurelyn.
Thank you for having me.
Those are really fun patterns too, and like you said, it's usable, it's reusable.
It's reusable.
And, that's true. It's hard to find the disposable masks right now, and that's if you can find them.
If you can find them, they're gold right now.
Thank you very much for your offer, for your generosity. We might take you up on it.
Anytime.
Thanks, Laurelyn. FDA-cleared surgical masks are designed to protect against splashes and sprays and are prioritized for use when such exposures are anticipated, including surgical procedures. Face masks that are not regulated by FDA, such as some procedure masks, which are typically used for isolation purposes, may not provide protection against splashes and sprays.
Thank you for that, Ace. Now, from making masks, let's move on to another do-it-yourself craft idea, because our broadcast also aims to keep all of us connected despite having to physically stay apart. And what better way to connect with each other this time than to share ideas on how we can maximize our time at home while we wait for it to be a little more safer outdoors.
I'm excited about this. Joining Eagle News today is a craft artist from Anaheim, California. Drum roll. She is a wife, a mom of 2, and also a hardcore CrossFit enthusiast. Not to mention being part of the frontliner force in this coronavirus crisis as an operations director for a healthcare clinic in Irvine. But today she will share with us some easy jewelry making techniques that we can make also from the comfort of our homes. With us is Ro Sistoso. Hi, Ro.
Hi, Ace. Hi, Eliza.
Okay, walk us through this. It's not pretty obvious. I want to learn how to do it, but come on, please tell us more about it.
So we've been ordered to do the Safer at Home this whole weekend, and to keep me from not eating, since times right now are stressful, I picked up jewelry making again. It's a hobby that I picked up when I had my daughter 20 years ago.
Tell us that story, Ro. What made you want to create something for Kylie? And then from then, you started creating more intricate designs, and friends started to ask you to make some for them. That's me included. Tell us the story.
It all started with, she had full of hair that's so unruly, and I just wanted a plain bobby pin, or I reached for a plain bobby pin, and I just wanted to create something a little bit more sparkly for her hair. So I decided to make her this. It's made out of just a plain hairpin that I just bedazzled.
Can we see it? Can we get closer?
There you go.
Pretty.
So I've had this 20 years ago.
Wow.
From there, my spark or interest in jewelry making just took off, and every chance I get, I would just research or go to bead stores or to any department stores. I will try to admire something, and by looking at it, I was able to figure out how to make simple jewelries. And
so you're saying you go to jewelry stores, you look at designs, and then from there you pick inspirations, and then you go to the bead store, having in mind already what you want to create, and then pick the beads. Is that correct?
Yes, definitely. You can go to gem shows or to any bead stores or any craft stores, and you kind of have an idea of what you want to make. But sometimes inspiration kicks in when you go shopping for the beads, and you just end up buying things like gemstones, pearls that you can incorporate into making earrings or jewelries.
Okay, Ro, show us how long. Tell us how long does it take for you to create a simple piece? Let's say a pair of earrings or a bracelet.
Well, I just finished these. I made one earring for the sake of time, but I will show you how to finish it off. This probably took me about 5 minutes, but I've been making this jewelry this afternoon, and I finished it in about a couple of hours just because each bead is individually hand wire wrapped. So for time's sake, I will go ahead. If you want, I will show you how to finish the earrings that I created right here.
All right.
Okay. I went ahead, and very simple tools that you will need that you could buy to any craft store. You will need a wire cutter, 2 sets of pliers, and just your wire wrapping tool. For hand wire wrapping, you need a jewelry wire. I buy these at bead shows, and this is a rose gold 14K gold fill wire. So let me show you the finished product. Nice. So this is a citrine.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's citrine, huh?
Citrine, and this is an amethyst gemstone that I wire wrap together to create earrings.
All right.
So I've taught a few friends how to make these, and they've picked up the hobby. So you're basically going to just cut about 2 inch of wire to be able to wrap this gemstone right here. So let me just show you. Pick up 1 plier, and then you're going to just bend this wire about 45 degrees. So it's going to look like an upside down L, like so. You're going to pick up your wire wrapping tool, and this tool makes the perfect O or circle for your loop. And then loop that wire back this way. Move your tool, and before you close it off, right now it's an unfinished tool, you're going to just connect it to this citrine that's already been wired. So basically, finish it off. Pick up your tool again, which is this wire wrapping tool. You can wire wrap anything, you can make any jewelries you want, and you'll save a ton of money.
That's true.
I picked up my It's almost done. So I picked up my one plier, holding the unfinished loop right here. So you have this wire hanging out. With your left hand, you're just simply going to loop back this unfinished wire about 3 times to finish it.
Secure it. Huh?
To secure it. Almost done. Trying to have steady hands here.
You gotta have steady hands.
Pick up your wire cutter. Oops. Oh, and you need a pair of good eyes, which mine have diminished through the years.
It makes it kind of us.
With another plier, kind of just tuck in that wire that you cut, so that way it's smooth and it's flushed. Mm-hmm. Now it's ready. Go ahead and pick up this amethyst gemstone. I have to see.
There you go.
There you go. And start the process again. With one plier, fold your wire to 45 degrees. Pick up your wire wrapping tool to connect and finish that loop. Almost done. Pick up a plain ear wire. This is just a French ear wire.
Okay.
That's rose gold. Loop it there. Finish your earring.
Nice.
Almost.
I remember when you make earrings, you also create necklaces and bracelets that come with the earrings, like a set. You do that, right?
Yes, yes. I believe there's a necklace with these earrings because I found these glorious citrine at a gem show. So there were a handful of them. So I was able to make a necklace with it. And just like that.
Yay!
That's it.
You have a bling in 5 minutes.
There you go.
Less than 5 minutes.
5 minutes?
So pretty. Well, Ro, some are asking, do you sell them, or do you have a gallery for them, or an online page so they could see and admire and maybe order some if you're selling them?
Well, friends would ask me to make, and they already have a design in mind. So I do weddings, and I'll take them with me to go to the gem show, so that way they can handpick whatever gems that they would like. But I don't sell them just because I'm very awkward when it comes to selling. But I give them to families and friends. And if, like I said, anyone can reach out, and I'll be more than happy to show them. It's very satisfying. And it brings you joy when you make something, especially right now in these times. Like this afternoon, all I've done was just because to keep my mind from thinking about COVID-19, since I have to face it again tomorrow when I go back to work.
That's true. Maybe you could create a online tutorial channel or something.
That'd be good.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining Eagle News, Ro.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
All right. New York and Jersey update. New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy warned residents to expect a crackdown on violators of stay-at-home order. And New Jersey's first county-run drive-thru testing center for COVID-19 opens at Kean University in Union Township, New Jersey. Eagle News correspondent El Aguilar with the details. El? El?
Hi,
El.
how are you? Eliza, how are you?
Hi, El.
It is, hello, it is Sunday here, 10:40 in the evening here in New Jersey. So we just got kicked out of the compound of Kean University because we tried to sneak in just to show you what it looks like, because they set up for the testing center that's about to open tomorrow. But before we go into details, as numbers continue to climb, right now it's 1,914 infected New Jerseyans with 20 deaths. The governor warned residents on a possible arrest if they don't follow strict stay-at-home order. So please stay at home, or at least, be home by 8 o'clock, because that's the curfew. There are certain groups of people who are exempted. These are healthcare employees, or those people who are giving medical services. Also, those who are servicing low-income communities. We're talking about those providing food, delivering food, like food banks or Meals on Wheels. They send or they deliver food to senior citizens and other low-income residents here in Jersey. Also, those who are exempted would be the law enforcers, media like us, and of course the emergency responders. The governor reminded 9 million New Jersey residents to really stay at home. And with some exceptions with retail businesses, as we mentioned in our previous reports, those retail businesses that are somewhat essential because, they sell food. These are the grocery stores, restaurants that are allowed to do takeouts or pickup and deliveries, but no dining. So please, the governor is really emphasizing on this, to stay stay indoors and don't go out. Yes, people can go out to buy groceries. Again, this is not a total lockdown. People can go out as early as 5 o'clock in the morning, but they have to be home by 8 p.m. They can buy groceries or food, medicine. You can even go out for a quick walk or exercise. But again, be home by 8 o'clock. Some updates in New Jersey, here's what we know. I keep reiterating, that it's very important that we follow the ordinance right now, because the number is really rising so fast. It's not even a joke. So here's what we know that happened over the weekend. The drivers crossing tunnels and bridges to and from New York. So these are, because we're actually next to New York, so we take the tunnels or the bridges. You are not allowed to pay cash anymore. Because the toll collectors are gradually being removed from their positions. Because of course, again, I'm sorry, it's so cold.
I'm sorry, Al.
No, that's okay. But, again, the toll collectors are being removed gradually from their posts because for safety reasons, of course.
Precautionary measures, right?
Yes. And beginning Monday, New Jersey's, like I mentioned earlier, we got kicked out of that Kane University because tomorrow is the opening of the first state-run drive-thru testing center. And it's right here at Kane University. Again, for those who would like to be tested, you cannot just come in. You can't even walk in. You have to have a transportation, that's one, because this is a drive-thru testing center. And even though you have the symptoms, you have to see your doctor, and then the doctor will be the one to give you a prescription. And also, the doctor will be the one to register you to go to this location using a secured portal that the county set up. We reported in the past 2 days that Bergen County Community Center, the one that was first opened by the state, I got to tell you, the first day they opened it, they closed at noon instead of 4 o'clock because they maximized the capacity. The following day, which was Saturday, they closed it as early as 10:15. Again, there's a lot of people who went there and they were turned away because they reached the maximum capacity. Today, they were closed. And we're hoping tomorrow will be open. It's because people are not listening. You have to make sure that you have the prescription. And even though you have the symptoms, you have to see the doctor first. It's very, it's really common sense. So don't try and go in just because you feel like you're sick. You have to be seen by the doctor first. Okay, so this testing center here at K University is run by the county with the help of 3 other large healthcare systems in New Jersey. And this coming week, 2 more testing centers will be open. One would be in the southern area of New Jersey at the PNC Art Center. And the other one is, again, in the northern part of New Jersey, which is the William Patterson University.
So these other 2 are also drive-thrus?
They're all drive-thrus.
Okay.
Yes, they're all drive-thrus because you can't get out of the car. The healthcare workers will reach out to you, but of course they still have to watch the distance. Everyone has to be careful because they don't know who they're dealing with. They don't know if this person is actually like really, really sick or not. So a lot of safety precautions or precautionary measures are really observed because of this COVID-19. From Union Township here at King University, El Aguilar, Eagle News, we live in interesting times.
Thanks for clarifying that, El. So there is a procedure. We can't just go through these testing sites if we're feeling any symptoms, so we see any symptoms, and just have ourselves tested.
We have to call first our primary care.
See the doctor, not just call. You have to see them, yes, because they will give you a prescription, and they will, here at Kane University, the doctor or the physician will register the patient in a secured portal that was set up by the county.
Oh, El, one more question before we go.
Sure.
Do you have any idea what the capacity is? What's the number of tests that is available?
Well, this one, they didn't say anything right now because they don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I think tomorrow they will find out and then they will determine. But from the Bergen County Community College that's run by the state police and the Department of Health there, the capacity there, well, they were expecting to at least test 2,500 a week. But obviously, they reached the capacity. Yes, that was the I think the estimate. But then, from what they saw over the weekend, last Friday and Saturday, we don't know what's going to happen because we also have, we could have maybe the testing kits. We may need more of those. We may need more healthcare workers to work at the sites. So those are other issues that they need to deal with and think about.
Thank you very much, El. We're going to get more information from Swarthmore, Pennsylvania. We have our correspondent, Myla Simbulan. Myla?
Myla, we don't hear you. Hi, Myla.
Hi, Liza.
Yeah, there you go.
Hi.
Hi. And good evening, good morning to all those who are watching us all over the world. Right now in Pennsylvania, the number of infected with coronavirus jumped to 479 with 2 deaths. That's 108 more from the day before, which many believe is due to increasing number of testing sites in the region. Like what happened in New Jersey, we also have this large drive-thru testing site at the parking lot of Citizens Bank Park. Due to testing shortage, though, they are not accepting random testers, only those that have doctor's orders and only for those healthcare workers as well. If you don't qualify, you will be turned away. Last Thursday also, after hearing of the first death due to COVID-19, the governor of Pennsylvania, Tom Wolf, ordered to close all non-life sustaining businesses to stop the spread of the virus. It was a hard decision for him because he knows that not everyone will be happy with this decision, especially small business owners. But according to him, and I quote, "Stay home if you want to save lives. We need to work together if we want to save lives." Also today, the mayor of Philadelphia, Jim Kenney, issued a stay-at-home order for the entire city of Philadelphia. According to him, he was forced to issue the order because there still were too many people not taking it seriously. As of today, Sunday, Philadelphia has about 96 cases of the COVID-19 virus. Also in Philadelphia, police commissioner announced that it will not arrest all those non-violent crimes, which includes all narcotics offenses, theft from persons, vandalism, and all those non-violent crimes. They will not be detained or processed, but will be processed after. And in order to reassure the public, Mayor Kenney said, "I believe these changes strike a proper balance between safeguarding the health of the public and our police officers and ensuring public safety." So it is really interesting, Ace and Eliza, on how we adapt every time there's a new directive, either from local, state, or federal government. Just last Friday, there's a need for me to go out and get food at the store because, my kids who are constantly eating or nonstop eating, that even if I don't want to go out, I had to. And and I was surprised that there was a line at this store. I've been going there since it opened, but it's not because there's a lot of people inside. They're just trying to control the number of people in order to follow social distancing.
Yes.
They're also sanitizing those carts and baskets before you go in, and they give it to you, which is really, really interesting. And I really believe in what the governor of Pennsylvania said, that we need to work together in order to save lives. In Swarthmore, Pennsylvania, Myla Simbulan, Eagle News, we live in interesting times.
Thank you, Myla. You mentioned that it's really amazing how people adapt to whatever instruction they get from the local or state government or officials.
Exactly.
I think that's important that we keep ourselves informed. So every day, information and instructions change. So it is important that we always make sure that we have the latest of the instructions and the information.
That's right.
Exactly, yeah. Those directives, they continually evolve, and you really have to keep up with them. So yeah, it's really important that we know what's happening around us.
Well, thank you, Myla.
Thank you.
Joining us, Ace, is our Eagle News correspondent in Everett, Washington, for our Washington State update, Michael Hudson. Hi, Mike.
How you doing, Ace and Eliza? How's your night going?
Good so far.
Good. So I just wanted to give you a quick update here in the state of Washington. So as far as the numbers go, based on this afternoon, we're up to 2,000 positive tests and also 95 deaths. So if you can compare the last few days, the numbers have not been gone up as quickly. So the growth rate has gone down quite a bit, which is good news. And one of the biggest pieces of news today is that the city of Everett, which is one of the biggest cities in the state, the mayor made an announcement this past Friday that starting tomorrow, there's going to be a mandatory lockdown. So we all know what that means. Everybody has to stay home unless they work for an essential business or they have to get essentials for their family. And, the attitude right now is, at first, people were in a panic. Obviously, everybody's thinking it's the end of the world. They're like, what am I going to do? There's no more sports, and things like that. And I think now people are starting to come to terms that this is going to take a little bit longer than what they originally anticipated. Not to say that they're completely comfortable, but they at least know that this is going to be a marathon as opposed to a sprint. So a lot of people are taking advantage, spending time with their families. I'm speaking to a lot of people that are taking up new hobbies like gardening and other sports at home, doing home workouts. So a lot of people are taking the time to be more constructive in their lives. And the last thing is that, as we all know, a lot of the small to medium-sized businesses are still struggling financially. A lot of people who I've talked to are making it a point to shop local business. And this is just to help them as they continue to stay afloat during this tough time. So in Everett, Washington, I'm Michael Hudson, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Good points there, Michael. Expecting this to be a marathon as opposed to being a sprint. A lot of people still, it was mentioned earlier in one of the reports that there are still the pessimists roaming around not believing in this. It's just sad. But what we can do really is to be aware, keep ourselves informed, and know where to get those information, the valid information, that is.
Exactly.
And speaking of taking up another hobby, tomorrow, stay tuned to Eagle News. We will see Michael show us indoor workout routine. We'll share with you tomorrow for our next episode. Thank you, Mike.
Check it out.
Thanks again, Michael.
Take care.
We get information from West Hills, California. We have Michelle Mangona and Aaron Rio Tatar to give us more updates.
Yeah. Just in Los Angeles County, California, you might not be able to see it, but it's raining pretty hard. So on to our COVID-19 update.
The death toll here in Los Angeles County, California, has risen to a total of 27 deaths, with 71 new cases, bringing the total of confirmed cases in Los Angeles County to 409.
With the increasing number of cases each day, Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti mandated that all residents throughout the county to remain at home to prevent further spread of COVID-19. This order began last Thursday and will last until April 19th or until further notice. Only essential businesses, such as those providing healthcare, food, and other necessary services, are exempt from this order.
The Safer at Home order allows residents to leave their homes for essential activities like biking, hiking, grocery shopping, medical appointments, visiting family members, and ordering takeout or carryout from restaurants. So it's not a complete lockdown here in Los Angeles.
Schools continue to be closed, causing many children to continue their education online and at home. We have here today a student, Gabby, who will tell us what she's doing to pass time with this new mandated order.
So Gabby, besides schoolwork online, what are some of the activities you are currently doing while staying home and being safe from the virus?
I'm playing my ukulele and going outside my backyard using my volleyball and my football.
Can you give us a quick lesson on how to play the ukulele?
I'm going to show you 3 chords, which is A minor, C, and F. So for A minor, you're going to put your middle finger on the 2nd fret first string, and you keep your finger there, and to play F, you would put your index finger on the 3rd string first fret. And then you take your ring finger on the 3rd fret last string.
And how about playing a song on the ukulele to take away the COVID-19 blues and cheer on people during this pandemic?
A long time ago, there was a volcano living on the moon in the middle of the sea. He's a high above his grave, watching all the couples play and wishing he had someone to. And from his lava came this song of hope he sang out loud every day for years and for years. I had a dream, I hope it will come true. Now you're here with me, and I'm here with you. I wish that we would see the sky up above to send someone to mother. Don't worry, everyone. Be happy.
There we have it. A happy song to help face and fight this virus.
In Los Angeles, California, Erin, Michelle, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Thank you, Erin and Michelle, and thank you, Gabby, for
Thank
that
you,
lovely
Maui.
song.
Oh, I mean, Gabby. Right.
Lovely, lovely song. Joining us also tonight is an Eagle News correspondent in Nova Scotia, Canada, Cara Cabuso. Cara? Cara?
Hi, thank you so much, Eliza. Today, March 22nd, Nova Scotia Premier Stephen McNeil declared a state of emergency to help contain the spread of COVID-19. The state of emergency will be in effect for 14 days and
Soccer, the world's favorite sport. And it's no wonder. Spectacular goals and plenty of emotion. The best of game day. Kickoff.
Ang COVID-19 ay isang nakahahawang sakit na sanhi ng bagong coronavirus na ngayon palang nakita sa mga tao. Ito ay pangunahing naikakalat ng tao sa pamamagitan ng mga droplet mula sa taong may sakit kapag siya ay magsasalita, uubo o babahing. Ang mga droplet na ito ay maaaring pumunta sa mga bibig o ilong ng mga taong malapit sa kanya. Masyadong mabigat ang mga droplet na ito upang maglakbay ng malayo sa hangin. Umaabot ng hanggang 1 metro ang pagtalsik nito at kaagad na mananatili sa ibabaw ng mga bagay. Ito ang dahilan kaya ang pagkahawa ng tao sa tao ay kadalas ay nangyayari sa pagitan ng mga close contact. Hindi pa alam ang eksaktong oras na nabubuhay ang virus sa mga bagay. Kaya mainam na palagi ang linisin ng mga gamit lalo na sa paligid ng taong may COVID-19. Ang mga kamay ay maaaring kontaminado ng virus lalo't marami itong hinahawakang mga bagay. Kaya iwasan ang paghawak ng mata, ilong at bibig dahil maaaring lumipat ang virus sa iyo sa pamamagitan ng kontaminadong kamay. Kung uubo o babahing, takpan ang bibig at ilong gamit ang looban ng siko o gumamit ng tissue. Pagkatapos gamitin ang tissue, itapon ka agad sa basurahang may takip. Ang madalas na paglilinis ng kamay gamit ang hand sanitizer na may alkohol o sabon at tubig ang pinaka-epektibong paraan upang maiwasan ang bagong coronavirus. Matatagal nito ang virus kung ito'y nasa kamay mo. Manatiling malusog at iwasan ang pagkalat ng COVID-19.
Ang Pilipinas ay laging nakakaranas ng kalamidad.
Maging ito ay natural o man-made.
Nakapanlulumo ang mga epekto nito.
Pero tayong mga Pilipino kilala sa pagtutulungan sa panahon ng pagsubok.
Inaalalayang makabangon ang mga nasalanta at nasa matinding krisis.
Mula noon hanggang ngayon, hindi nawawala ang Filipino bayanihan spirit.
Going live with Shani Lazaro, Saturdays, 10 a.m. on Net 25.
The coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic. And joining us tonight is our Eagle News correspondent in Nova Scotia, Canada, Cara Cabuso. Cara?
Thank you, Eliza. Today, March 22nd, Nova Scotia Premier Stephen McNeil declared a state of emergency to help contain the spread of COVID-19. The state of emergency will be in effect for 14 days and may be renewed, the emergency order valid until noon of April 5th. As of March 21, Nova Scotia has 9 confirmed cases and 12 presumptive cases of COVID-19 for a total of 21. The 21 individuals affected range in age from late teens to mid-70s. Nova Scotia borders will tighten to travelers and all entry points, land, sea, and air, will be closely managed. Anyone entering the province will be stopped, questioned, and told to self-isolate for 14 days. Exemptions for cross-border travel include healthy workers in trades and transportation sectors who move goods and people, for example, truck drivers, healthy people going to work, example, healthcare workers, and people traveling into the province for essential services, example, chemotherapy treatment. And provincial parks, beaches, and tourist attractions are closed. Provincial trails will remain open for exercise. And the gathering limits and social distancing guidelines must be followed. Here in Nova Scotia, there are to be no social gatherings of more than 5 people. Well, yesterday, March 21, it was 50 people. And today, March 22, they narrowed it down to 5 people. And any workplace or business that is not deemed essential or not already required to be closed can remain open as long as a 2-meter or 6-foot distance can be maintained. In Halifax, Nova Scotia, Cara Cabuso, Eagle News Live. Eagle News, we live in interesting times.
Before we let you go, just a couple questions. You mentioned Nova Scotia is a retirement place.
Yes.
Majority of the population are
all elderly people.
Yes. People. Have you had any interactions with the elderlies, and how are they taking it?
Well, yes, I had interactions with elderly people. But then, for example, in the nursing homes, because there's a lot of nursing homes here in Nova Scotia, they are prohibiting visitors to come in and out. So even their intimate family relations are not permitted to go inside. And the healthcare workers are also required to use the protective equipment such as mask, gloves, and gowns. And they should be always washing their hands. Also, the elderly people, they also advise them to wash their hands before eating and have some sanitizer if need be.
Thank you, Cara. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
The EBC International coverage.
Like we mentioned earlier, Ace, our coverage of the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic also aims to help keep us stay connected, even though we are advised to stay apart physically, hopefully just for a little while. And with that in mind, we've been having EBC friends start by our program by means of live video chat and share with us ideas on how we can spend our extra time at home more.
Because we live in interesting times. Joining us today is a young student in Maryland who will show us some martial arts skills using his nunchucks. The only nunchucks I know are the, what do you call that? The game control. Well, we have 9-year-old LJ Talons. LJ?
Hi, LJ.
Show us your nunchucks.
Right here.
Okay, LJ, first of all, how are you liking being at home for how many days now and for the next couple of weeks? Are you enjoying it? Are you bored? Or do you have homework?
I I've been staying at home for more than a week. I'm being pretty bored.
Why are you clapping your hands?
But do you have homework?
No, I do not. I do not have it.
That's why. That's why you're bored, because there's no homework. Now, LJ, share with us why nunchucks?
Because when I was looking for a certain show, I couldn't find it, but I was able to find this show about Bruce Lee, and it inspired me to use nunchucks since he was able to use nunchucks.
Okay, who taught you? Did you have a teacher, or did
Is there anyone in the family who has this hobby?
Aside from Bruce Lee?
I copied Bruce Lee as I watched the video. So
Wow. Okay, show us, LJ, some of your moves. Here we go.
Aren't you supposed to make a sound when you do that? Like, cha-cha, cha-cha!
Don't interrupt him. It's like it's nothing for him, huh?
Right. Great skills.
Wow.
It looks quite easy, but it's not really easy. You have to get used to the nunchuck playing.
Did you hear that, Ace? Looks easy, but it's not.
Let me try it next year.
Thank you very much, LJ. We hope that you won't get too bored because this looks like it's going to take a while. Regards to your siblings and your parents. Thank you for joining Eagle News.
Keep practicing. Thanks, LJ. Those moves got me really hungry. Speaking of getting hungry, joining Eagle News tonight is a little girl in West Hills, California. She is Eliana Sakulis, sharing with us a special recipe. With her is Eagle News correspondent Alan Basalyaje. Alan?
Hi, Ace. Hi, Eliza. We're here in Eliana's kitchen, and as you probably guessed, this is Eliana. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good.
And so, you know, we are talking about stories that deal with the quarantine and activities, or as the young folks call them, quarantivities. She was laughing earlier. She was laughing earlier. But you're going to show us one of your quarantivities, right? What are you going to do for us today?
I'm going to be cooking today.
Okay, well, show us the finished product of what we can be, what's in store for us.
I'm going to be making chocolate chip cookies and 3 cheese mac and cheese.
So what about these cookies over here?
These cookies I made earlier because they're different from these. These are more of like, they're softer.
And these cookies are pretty big. Are they fake? They look like they're just for display.
No, they're real.
Okay, so if I eat it, it'll taste sweet.
Yes, very sweet.
Would you say that there's a lot of sugar in these cookies?
A lot of sugar.
So I guess we can call that quarantivities. That's great. Okay, so what are you going to show us to make first?
I'm going to show how to make the mac and cheese first. Let's go.
Now we really are going to her kitchen.
So I have here prepared our elbow macaroni and our 3 cheeses, mozzarella, sharp cheddar, parmesan, and we have milk here, flour and water, butter, and our spices, mustard powder, white pepper, black pepper, salt, chili powder, and paprika.
Now I do have a question about the pasta because we know there's all different types of pasta, spaghetti, angel hair. How do you know to choose this for your dish?
Well, I choose macaroni because, elbow pasta because it's traditional to do it with mac and cheese.
Excellent. Okay, so what's the first step, or what are you going to show us how to make this dish?
Oh, what I'm going to do first is turn on the pan and put it to medium, low-ish, and I'm going to put the butter in first.
And we do want to tell the the viewers at home that we are supervised here. We trust Ileana. How old are you?
I'm 11.
Yes, but nobody trusts me around the kitchen. So can we get a shot of what she's doing in there?
So we're first gonna melt the butter, and as it's starting to melt, we're gonna make sure it gets all around the pot. Okay.
I can be your assistant. What do you need next?
Can you get me the milk, please?
Here it is. You're very welcome. Hey, polite.
And now we're gonna put in the milk. I'm gonna start. And just let it simmer for maybe like 2 minutes. And then as it's gonna start simmering, we're gonna make something that's gonna make the milk thicker. So we're gonna put water into the flour.
What a professional.
And start mixing. Make sure it turns like this-ish. And put it into the milk and butter. That's gonna make it into the cheese sauce or make it become thicker than the milk because you don't want it to be thin.
Now, Ileana, about in total, how long does it make this entire dish?
Mac and cheese is pretty easy to make, so I'm guessing maybe 25 minutes to 30 maybe.
Okay, of course. So fortunately, we're not going to do the whole 25 minutes. We do have some already prepared. And I'm going to be able to taste test it, right?
Yes.
Okay, we're very glad about that because Ileana, as you can obviously tell by looking at me, I haven't eaten the whole day. Did you prepare anything for the rest of your family?
Yes, I have.
I don't see it on the table. I thought that was all for me. Okay. All right, what's next?
So we're gonna add our first
Can I help out here?
cheese, the sharp cheddar.
I'm just going to bring it closer.
And we're gonna let it melt before we put the other cheeses, or else it's just gonna make a big.
What's next?
This melt.
Okay, so if we pretended like it melted already, what would be next?
Where we're gonna put the mozzarella.
I just see two white. This one. Yeah. This white cheese. Have you ever made 2 cheese macaroni?
I think so.
Okay. And the next cheese? Parmesan. There you go.
And I freshly grated this Parmesan, so it's gonna be more fresher and make it taste more rich.
And so, Ileana, would you agree that's the difference between getting it out of a box and just grating it yourself?
Yes.
I know what's next. One of these two. This one?
And we're gonna make sure all the cheese is melted and make sure it's starting to get thicker. And you want to keep on constantly mixing it because you don't want the cheese or the milk to burn. And make sure it's nice and smooth. Gonna add the seasonings now.
I'm a good assistant.
Then our macaroni is next, but make sure all of our ingredients are combined together easily. Now we're gonna add our macaroni. And when you cook your macaroni, I like to cook mine al dente, and that for elbow noodles, or for macaroni, you would cook it al dente because when you cook your macaroni al dente, you don't want to cook it all the way because you might still cook it in like cheese sauce or meat sauce.
Now, Eliana, what grade are you in?
I'm in 5th grade.
How many of your classmates know what al dente means?
Not many.
I didn't think so. Okay.
So then you're going to let this at least warm up or cook for 5 minutes or so. Yeah.
And then we get this, right? Why don't we walk over? Because this is my favorite part.
finished product over here. So this is our 3-cheese mac and cheese. I topped it with a little bit of paprika so it looks nice in color.
We're going to taste that later, but we also want to do a quick demonstration of your baking skills.
So over here, I have all my ingredients. I have melted butter, semi-sweet chocolate chips, and milk chocolate, 1 large egg, baking soda, salt, and we have vanilla extract, and my secret ingredient, apple cider vinegar. We have 2 types of sugars, brown sugar and white sugar, and flour.
So we talked a little bit earlier. What's the difference between these confectionaries with and without the cider vinegar?
I use apple cider vinegar because it gives it more acidity and it makes the cookie crunchier and softer on the inside.
Well, I'll let you continue with your demonstration.
Make sure it's light packed brown sugar. And I'll use a wooden spoon to mix. Add your melted butter and make sure it's not like as hot. So let it set when it comes out of the microwave so it will not cook the egg that we're going to put in. Combine the ingredients.
I wish the viewers could smell this.
Add 1 egg. And mix.
Is there a certain percentage of acceptable egg shell in the batter?
No.
I just had to ask.
Well, while we're about to be done with that, add the apple cider vinegar and vanilla extract.
For everyone watching, honestly, just the smells, the sugar, and the vanilla extract, we haven't even added the chocolate yet. It's so sweet.
I added a lot of sugar in here, so it must be very sweet.
Quarantavities.
And then we're going to add our baking soda and salt. Make sure it's combined evenly. Then we add our flour, but add half first, because if you add all of it, it's gonna be harder to mix or it's gonna go everywhere.
So somebody like me who doesn't really bake would have just added the whole thing. How did you learn how to do this?
Well, I watched a lot of cooking shows and channels about cooking, and I learned from my mistakes what to do and what not to do.
I would have liked to have been around to tell you your mistakes.
I also have a stand mixer.
Alan,
If I get
we want to
tired-
ask...
Hi, Eliza.
Hi, we want to ask Aliana.
Yes.
For how many is she baking?
Yeah, it's for me. How many are you baking for? It's just for me, right?
Maybe.
A lot of fights have started with those 2 letters. So how many people are in your family?
4.
There's 4.
Do you normally bake and cook for 4 people in your house?
Yes.
Mm.
So I've added the rest of the flour, and as I said earlier, we have a stand mixer, and sometimes if I don't want to do it by hand, then I use my stand mixer instead.
I'm going to ask the same question that I asked about your 3-cheese macaroni and cheese. How long would this whole process, start to finish, take?
Maybe an hour.
Okay.
We're not going to go through the whole hour. Can we go ahead and we have one more, right? Okay.
This.
There you go. What was that last
Make
ingredient?
sure it's all combined evenly.
Close-up of that so you can see the chocolate.
Looks good.
And make sure you're folding.
What's the baking time and baking temperature?
Air bubbles to come in, so
they want to know the time and temperature for this for these cookies.
you would set, well, before you were starting to make it, you would set your oven at 325 degrees Fahrenheit and spray your pans with baking spray. Put like maybe a tablespoon of batter on and bake it for 8 to 9 minutes.
And you had already turned the oven on earlier.
Yes.
Which is why it's a little hot in here. Okay, so I know that we could actually keep watching you, put it on the pan, all of that, but I'm getting a little bit hungry. So can we go ahead and do a taste testing? I'll be the judge.
All right, looks good.
All here, and spoon for you.
This is my special spoon. It's not plastic, so there won't be any viruses on it. Okay, let me try them. What is this called again?
The 3 cheese mac and cheese.
3 cheese mac and cheese.
Cheese mac and
What's
cheese.
the red stuff?
It's paprika.
Oh, it's paprika. Ace, Eliza, I don't think you don't know this about me. I am not good with spices.
Good luck
Give it a
to
shot.
you,
Yes.
Alan.
Anything for the ratings. Okay.
And what's the verdict?
It's not hot. It's good.
You're smoking.
It's delicious. Okay, one more, I guess, right? Let's try this.
We're officially jealous, Alan.
You should be. It's delicious. So just to prove this is not a prop, try it out.
All right.
Ooh, we can hear the crunch.
Ace, Eliza, to be honest, we've been prepping for a little while. These have been sitting here for a while. They are
But they're
crunchy
good.
around the outskirts and soft and chewy in the center. Excellent. Thank you so much, Eliana.
Of course.
Ace, Eliza, I am Alan Bosco-Yahe with Eliana in West Hills. Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Thank you, Alan and Eliana. Thank you for joining us. The coronavirus might be causing interruptions on people's plans all around the world. But next up, we talk to a couple who just couldn't let the pandemic spoil their baby's joy. Eagle News correspondent Lisa DeSena with the story. Take a look.
Meet Jazzery. This bundle of cuteness turns 1 in a couple of weeks, but was expected to be the center of attention at her first birthday party yesterday. Invitations were sent, RSVPs were received, and then the coronavirus came to town. That might have been the end of her party, but Jazzy's parents, Jason and Sarah, were already used to overcoming such challenges. Jason, who grew up in Hawaii, and Sarah, a native to Arizona, dated for 2 years long distance before Jason moved to Arizona to marry Sarah, the love of his life, back in 2017. So after the joy of discovering they were pregnant and the exciting journey to delivery, they simply couldn't let Jazzy miss her first birthday party. Sarah sent out new invites and text messages explaining they were moving the party online. And that is just what they did. Some of the gifts didn't make it on time due to shipping delays caused by so many online panic buys. But that didn't stop Jazzy from enjoying her gifts and eating her cake too, amidst the love-filled messages popping up via Messenger. So while the rest of the world is forced to deal with the current pandemic, little Jazzery is happy to just be dealing with her very own fundemic. Tempe, Arizona, Lisa DeSena. We live in interesting times.
Joining Eagle News tonight are the parents of the birthday girl, the Tugades. Thank you for joining Eagle News. Hi.
Hi.
Okay. Sarah, we have a question. What made you decide to move the birthday party online ahead of her actual birthday, which is in April?
Everything was, after all the invitations were sent out, and COVID was rising. We were getting responses from our guests that won't be able to make it because of this, that's going on, so they can't go out. We spoke about it to our family, and my parents actually said that maybe you should cancel it and wait for a few months, but we really didn't want to cancel our daughter's birthday. So we were inspired by some of our friends. Why not have it like electronically or virtual party? Everyone can witness it. So that's what we did.
Okay, Sarah, online party means all the guests will be joining you from the comfort of their homes, right? What were some of the challenges that you faced? Aside from not having there physically.
We needed to get balloons, and we went to Party City, and they were closed. So we were in a rush, and we just went to Target and grabbed balloons. We had no helium, so we just taped them on the wall.
Jason, yes. Did you have any hand in the planning of the online birthday party?
I get to blow the balloons. And I built her a bike. Yes.
Okay, Ace and I are wondering, how was the food shared? How did you feed your guests?
Was it online too?
We had a little program set up on the Facebook page of the event, and then we said, make sure you have your food with you so we can eat together.
So virtually you ate together.
Yes.
How are the gifts sent? Of course, it's her first birthday. There has to have gifts.
Right.
How are they sent?
Through, of course, delivery, and then wherever we were, they would come by and just drop it off personally, and then they would leave.
Drop off.
So we would get them earlier, like at the chapel. They would give it to us there.
Okay, so as parents of
But we can't wait to hear your music. Okay, tell us, at what age did you start playing the guitar?
So I took a class back in 8th grade, but it wasn't really my plan to learn the guitar. I wasn't really into it, but I had to take the class for a grade, so I guess I just took it from there. I got into it, and now I'm here.
Okay, Paula, You would sing covers most of the time. We would see you on YouTube or Instagram. But when did you start composing your own songs?
I think I started writing my own songs about 2 years ago, but I didn't really feel good about them until this year. Yeah, I just kept writing and writing until I felt good about my own songs, and yeah.
What do you think? What genre are you trying to achieve here?
If I had to pick, I would go with folks music, I think, or pop, R&B, somewhere around there.
Okay, Paolo, what's the inspiration behind this song that you will share with us today?
The inspiration.
What or who?
Okay, that's kind of hard to answer. So with the the virus widespread, with all the panic going around, you can't really go anywhere. There's not really much to go to, so I've just been in the house, just been stuck here, bored, and I guess I don't know. I don't know. I was just really bored. I just decided to write a song, and I finished it. Surprisingly, usually takes me like more than 2 days, but I finished it.
Okay, Paolo. Before we listen to you, how do we find you on Instagram or on YouTube?
Okay. So for Instagram, my username is Koala Bear with 4 underscores at the end. And my YouTube channel is called Ryan Paolo. Yeah. Go give me a follow.
All right, let's hear it.
All right. I don't really have a title for this one yet, but here we go. I hope you guys like it. There's a lot of ways to show affection. Wrap your arms around, give her attention. Drop your pad and stop all of your searching. She's all you need. Wake up, turn your head around, see that girl right next to you. She wants someone else but yourself. Drop on your worries, cause she's not like the others. And I know you've been through a lot. You've been broken countless times, and I know you're tired of that. But don't you ever let it go, cause you'll never find another her. There's a lot of ways to show affection. Wrap your arms around, give her attention. She's all you need. Wake up, you see her laying there. Go get up and make a coffee and tell her there's no one else. Like, baby, I promise I'll never leave. I'll be here with you through everything until the very end. Now, she ain't asking for a lot of once a day. Got a fancy car, got a diamond ring to show her. Chilling on the couch, watch Netflix and chill. She's a woman, she don't need all those material things. There's a lot of ways to show affection. Wrap your arms around, give her attention. Drop your pride and stop all of your searching. She's all yeah.
With a beat like that and an arrangement like that, I'm pretty sure you'll be conquering the airwaves pretty soon.
I hope someday. But thank you guys.
Thank you for joining us, Paolo.
Thank you guys for having me.
Over the weekend, the governor of Hawaii announced a plan that he himself described as, quote, the first of its kind in the nation in slowing the spread of COVID-19 in the islands. Eagle News Hawaii correspondent Alfred Asenes has the details.
Beginning on Thursday, March 26, all travelers bound for Hawaii, whether by air or sea, whether visitor or returning resident, will undergo a mandatory 14-day self-quarantine. Hawaii Governor David Ige made this announcement during a press briefing at the State Capitol Building Rotunda in downtown Honolulu. Other key leaders who were in attendance at that time included Honolulu Mayor Kirk Caldwell, Director of the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency, HAEMA, U.S. Army Major General Kenneth Hara, Hawaiian Airlines President Peter Ingram, and President of the Hawaii Lodging and Tourism Association, Mufi Hanneman. Governor Ige stressed, quote, "This mandate is the first of its kind in the nation. We want this action to send a message to visitors and residents alike that we appreciate their love for Hawaii, but we are asking them to postpone their visit," end of quote. Earlier in the week, the governor encouraged visitors to postpone their travel to Hawaii for 30 days, pursuant of slowing down the spread of the virus in the islands. The governor also stated, quote, "With the majority of Hawaii's COVID-19 cases linked to travel, it is critical that we further mitigate the spread of the virus by both residents and visitors who are coming from out of state." Ige also acknowledged the economic impact of this action in favor of the health and safety of everyone in the Aloha State. He assured, quote, "This plan was developed in collaboration with our county mayors and Hawaii's business, community, and visitor industry leaders," end of quote. Governor Ige explained that the intent behind implementing the self-quarantine at a later date instead of sooner is to give all travelers, airlines, hotels, law enforcement, and other stakeholders ample time to adjust their plans and procedures. Now, the guidelines for the 14-day mandatory self-quarantine included the following. 1. Travelers will be required to remain inside their rooms at their respective hotels while residents will remain in their homes for the required duration. If visitors plan to stay less than 14 days, they will stay quarantined that whole time until their departure. 2. Travelers will be responsible for any cost associated with the quarantine. 3. The mandate will not apply to emergency responders and other essential workers, including those who are responding to the COVID-19 pandemic. It will also not apply to flight crews. 4. The rule will not apply to any of the visitors already in Hawaii. When asked why a border closure for the entire state was not chosen, Governor Ige indicated the self-quarantine option as sufficient in preventing the further spread of the virus. According to Mayor Caldwell, the self-quarantine rule will be enforced in all 4 counties. Violations thereof will be treated as misdemeanors and subject to fines of up to $5,000 and/or 1 year in prison. Meanwhile, the beach resort at Ko'olina in West Oahu, together with hotels such as Disney's Aulani Resort and Spa and the Four Seasons, will close this coming Tuesday. Halekaua Hotel in Waikiki already announced its closure earlier last week. Now, according to the Hawaii Department of Health's dedicated website, hawaiicovid19.com, there are 48 confirmed cases, up from 37 in the previous day. Reporting from Hawaii, I'm Alfred Asenas, Eagle News. Will live in interesting times.
Thanks, Alfred. Governor John Bell Edwards at a press conference says the state has 2 weeks to minimize the spread of the new coronavirus COVID-19. Eagle News correspondent Nicole Padilla in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, reports.
Here in Baton Rouge, the capital of Louisiana, Governor John Bell Edwards held an urgent press conference Wednesday, March 18, declaring that the state has 2 weeks to minimize the spread of the new coronavirus, COVID-19. Edwards explained that the next 14 days will reveal whether Louisiana's healthcare system is overwhelmed and stated, "We do not want to look like Italy 2 weeks from now." Earlier this week, the community testing site in Baton Rouge closed within a few hours of opening day due to the shortage of testing kits, but will be reopened once additional kits are received. Mayor President Sharon Weston Broom has formed COVID-19 group of medical professionals to address the virus in East Baton Rouge and is working to strengthen screening protocols. According to Governor John Bell Edwards, Louisiana will receive roughly 1,000 test results over the next 2 to 3 days. State officials will look at prediction models of COVID-19 cases Louisiana could expect, and from there will determine if its hospitals have enough beds. A request has been made to the federal government for veterans hospitals to be open to the general public, and as a last resort, hospitals in good condition are being considered for additional space. Stay tuned to Eagle News for more updates. In Baton Rouge, Louisiana, I'm Nicole Padilla, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Thanks, Nicole. In Port Canaveral, cruise ships to serve as temporary floating hospitals for non-COVID-19 cases. Eagle News correspondent Melissa Potes has more.
Typically bustling with activity, Port Canaveral here on Florida's East Coast is quieter than usual. With the suspension of cruise ship operations from U.S. ports of call for 30 days in effect, there are currently 5 cruise ships at layberth here in Port Canaveral, none of which have passengers on board. In a statement made by Carnival Corporations on Thursday, March 19th, select cruise ships from its fleet could become temporary floating hospitals to treat non-COVID-19 cases, freeing up space and increasing capacity at land-based hospitals to treat active COVID-19 cases. In Port Canaveral, Melissa Potes, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Thank you, Melissa. Fitness facilities have closed their doors in response to the government's plea that non-essential business establishments cut down hours or temporarily halt services to help curb the spread of the coronavirus, COVID-19. Those of you who wish to still work out but couldn't go out, here's a quick workout video that you might want to follow. Let's take a look.
News, Ken Cruz here. And if you're like me, you're stuck at home right now, whether you're working from home or learning from home. And you gotta get up early, so how do you get yourself out of bed? Well, I have 5 exercises for you that you can do 30 seconds each. All you need is a timer, 30 seconds, and a yoga mat. So the 5 exercises are 1, jumping jacks, 2, running in place, 3, push-ups, 4, sit-ups, and 5, a 30-second plank. Easy enough? Let's get to it. All right, so first one is jumping jacks. Here we go. So with these, there's 2 ways to do this, right? So whether you have bent elbows, you want to make sure that your elbows are back, and there's this way too, full arms. Also making sure that your shoulders are back. Switch to these too. Feeling good? My heart rate's already going up. Oh, there we go. All right, next one, running in place. This one, you want to make sure that your knees are nice and high. I like to do this with shoes on, so I got to put on my socks and my shoes right when I get out of bed. Sometimes I keep my shoes right next to my bed to remind myself. So, nice and high knees, arms driving. We got 10 seconds left. Whew. Breath's going. 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, so third one is push-ups. Here we go. So what you want to make sure that your core is nice and tight and that your elbows are back, not leaning up and not butt in the air, nice and straight. We got 13 more seconds. All right, now, about this time, you're probably nice and awake, not thinking about bed, thinking about what you're going to be doing today and conquering your day. 30 seconds right there. All right, fourth one, sit-ups. A couple ways to do sit-ups. First one, nice and easy right here. All right, just making sure that my timer's going. Hands behind your head. Crunches, shoulders off the floor. If you want to get a little crazy, you can go up, elbows, elbows, elbows. 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, last one. Number 5 is a plank. So for the plank, you want to get on your elbows on the floor, nice push-up position, and just hold. Here, you want to make sure that your core is tight and that your hips aren't driving down or up. Nice and straight. We got 15 seconds. We're almost there. Whew. 13, 12, 11. Hopefully at this point, your heart is beating well, but you're not going too crazy. The purpose of this is just to get you started in your day, and that's it. In less than 3 minutes, you're able to get your heart racing, your blood flowing, and hopefully your endorphins going so that you can conquer your day. Remember to stay positive, stay healthy, and stay strong. I'm Ken Cruz, Eagle News, and we are in some very interesting times.
Thank you, Ken. Now, a few reminders before you let you go to keep ourselves protected from infectious diseases. Wash your hands often with soap and water. Cover your mouth and nose while sneezing or coughing. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Avoid contact with sick people. If you are sick, stay home and call your healthcare provider. Practice social distancing, that's keeping distance between yourself and others, and avoid crowds.
That is today's EBC International coverage of the Coronavirus Pandemic North America edition. Thank you for joining us. I'm Ace Ramirez.
I'm Eliza Gonzalez, Manglekmot.
We live in interesting times.